just finishing up our little Malaysian side trip. When we arrived at the airport here, it was pretty easy going, getting to the customs to start with, but after that, really slow, horrible baggage clearance, and it took about an hour and 45 to get from the airport into Georgetown on a bus. So I'd looked to getting cabs. We didn't have roaming or anything over here, because we're only here for a couple of days, so I didn't worry about getting a SIM card, so couldn't use Grab or anything. So waited for a cab. There was a massive lineup of dudes waiting for a cab. Just ended up catching public transport, the bus, which cost next to nothing, but an hour 45, and it was just a pretty shitty turnaround. But yeah, we got back in today. Came through customs super quick and easy on the departure side.
But I wish Sydney did that.
Yeah, heaps easier than going through Sydney, like 10 minutes and you're through with international. You just check in online through the kiosk instead of doing all the dicking around if you've got no carry-on, so heaps easier. But yeah, not a bad little airport. There's a bit of a fire going on over the other side, which is a bit concerning. But that's not on airport land, which is good, so it shouldn't hold us up. But yeah, this is the last little leg and the last video for this season, I'm guessing. A few people have sort of hinted at why we came to Malaysia to start with, and I was looking at Malaysia as a retirement place well before we even thought about Thailand. So unfortunately, when COVID came, they changed their policies and their visa policy. They used to have a really good visa called Malaysia My Second Home, which is MM2H, which Aussies and that can get, and expats. And I'll talk a little bit about it. I'll put some info up on the screen about how it is now compared to how it used to be. And it's a little bit strange. I don't know what they're trying to do, but whether they're just trying to get super rich expats into the country. But it's a bit of a shame, because it used to be a really good value visa. You could come over here, buy property, buy a car, work, no problems, stay in Malaysia at least 90 days a year, and then you could go back to Australia or wherever, you know. And it was just like you had a little second home, like the visa says. But then they changed it during COVID, so I'll just put some info up on the screen and have a little chat about it. It's a bit weird. So after COVID, they with the new 2021 requirements, all the applicants must prove that they have liquid assets worth 1.5 million ringgits. So that's 492,000 Australian dollars. And that used to be in the range of 115 to 165,000 Australian, depending on your age. So going from sort of 115, 165,000 up to 492 of liquid assets, that's not really something that's achievable if you're using your property to fund your retirement. So yeah, I don't know. In addition to that, you've got to have an offshore income of at least 40,000 ringgits a month. So that's 13,100 dollars Australian per month, which is a fourfold increase over the previous, which was about 3,300 a month, which I definitely could have managed on my defence pension or a self-managed super fund type of routine. But and you must reside in Malaysia for 90 days a year. Had no problem with that at all. Now, apparently, if you are retired and over 50, you can knock that 13,100 a month, or the 40,000 ringgit monthly figure, back down to 10,000 ringgits a month if you're retired, and you can show that the money's coming from a government pension. But if you can't tell it's coming from a government pension, and it looks like it's coming from your own self-managed super fund, then I don't know how that's really going to work. So a bit strange. But on top of that, you've got to have a fixed deposit account in Malaysia with a balance of 1 million ringgit, so $330,000 Australian. And that's just sitting in the bank, like bugger all interest rates at the moment, 2% maybe. So that's a lot of money to have tied up. Liquid assets, yes, and then you've got to have this 330 grand in the bank. Now you can withdraw some of that money during your stay, and you can use those to pay for real estate or health, medical procedures and that sort of thing, or healthcare or educational fees if you're looking at bringing kids over. But yeah, so it's gone from like a really good scheme to super expensive scheme. They've got to have lots more money tied up or invested in Malaysia, which makes it pretty hard. So yeah, look, a bit disappointing to find that out. We'd already booked this though before I'd researched it again and like had another look at it. But yeah, it was good, just good little sort of 3.5 or 4 day stop over here to round out the series, and we'll go back to Australia and work out what we're going to do. We do have another trip already planned in September, coming back with young Kale, and yeah, that'll be interesting, going to Chiang Mai and Bangkok again. So we'll keep you posted, but thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed it and got something out of it, and we'll see you on the next season, which should be pretty much back to back on top of this one, if I've done my calculations right this time and got enough footage to make videos while we're back in Australia to keep us covered until we go again. All right, thanks again, and all the best from Get a Life.